In June of 2022, my family and I visited the remote city of Los Alamos while traveling from Pecos National Historic Landmark to the Valles Caldera National Preserve. The city rests atop a high plateau with amazing views and history. When we arrived, the first thing we did was walk around the pond in the Ashley Pond Park. The pond was named after the founder of the Los Alamos Ranch School, Ashley Pond Jr., and the pond's water was used for fire control during the initial operation of the lab, when the majority of the buildings were wooden. It was a very peaceful walk, and the pond was full of fish and ducks. It was a great place to stop and have a picnic. After lunch, we stopped by the visitor center for passport stamps, because it's all about the stamps. At the visitor center, we were told about the free science museum the city offers, since visitors are not allowed at the laboratory. So we walked the 2 or so blocks to the museum to check it out. The museum was full of artifacts and exhibits about the creation of the Los Alamos laboratory and the development of the atomic bomb. The volunteers at the museum are actually scientists at the lab, and they were very knowledgeable of the exhibits and more than willing to answer most of the questions we had. The museum had many hands-on exhibits that we enjoyed. The museum also detailed the secrecy that the people and workers of the town lived in during this time. We spoke to many locals that worked at the museum about the area and learned that the locals call the area the Nerd Preserve. We also learned that many children do not know what their parents actually do for a living until their parents' jobs are declassified. There are still secrets there today. During World War II, American scientists have been hearing rumors about the Germans working on an atomic bomb. If they had succeeded, the Allies would have been overpowered and would have lost the war. When Albert Einstein wrote a letter to President Roosevelt explaining this, the president decided to take action. His plan was to have a group of scientists work together on this project secretly. The project's code name was Project Y, aka the Manhattan Project. This project was led by J. Robert Oppenheimer and General Leslie Groves, and became one of the largest secret projects in U.S. history, and led to the creation of the largest building in the world at that time, the K-25 building in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Los Alamos was selected as the project headquarters because of its beauty, and the remoteness of the area would allow for a secret base. The project was later expanded to include Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and Hanford, Washington. Each lab was used for a specific purpose. The Oak Ridge lab was to create the uranium. The Hanford lab was for the production of plutonium, and the Los Alamos lab was for the research and production of the final bomb. Nothing like this had ever been done before. Scientists who worked on the bomb were experimenting with unstable material that could explode without warning. Their thought process was that if it blows up on them, they'll never know. Since the project had such a secret, the families that called the lab home had no idea what was happening and could tell no one where they lived or what they were doing. Even the children born there were a secret. Their birth certificates stated P.O. Box 1663, New Mexico, instead of Los Alamos, New Mexico. Even today, the lab is still doing secret work. We asked many of the volunteers what they do at the lab, and they could not tell us, only that they worked with computers. Overall, our experience here was great. It was a very incredible experience being in the middle of nowhere and knowing how much of an impact this place had on all mankind. The movie Oppenheimer had just been filmed there, and filming ended a week before we got there, so you could still see some of the sets. We asked a few locals where they like to eat, and they all said the same place, the Pyramid Cafe, and they had great Mediterranean food there. Whenever we talk about this visit, the food always comes up. We really enjoyed our time on the Nerd Preserve.